Hi guys, welcome back to my video. Today we are going to learn more on waterfall model. It's part of SDLC. If you're new to my video, I would request you to go back to my previous video that is on SDLC software development lifecycle. Watch it, finish it, and then come back to waterfall model. Today we'll be dealing more on this waterfall methodology. Before that, if you're new to my channel, just hit like and subscribe, support us so that we'll create great contents. So let's dive deep down to software methodologies. We know, like in industry, there are so many methodologies available. Waterfall is one among them. We don't have just one or two methods in software industry, right? So all of these will be categorized, or like these are like derived based on the requirement of the client, according to the project needs. So SDLC as a principle we follow in everything, but that need to be have a customization, right? So according to the project constraint, limitation, the stack we're going to use for that particular project based on the requirement. If my client wanted to include more features to the product in and there, I cannot use waterfall methodology. There are more limitations and positive for each methodologies. So the project owners, CTOs will be analyzing the requirement in the initial phase, and then they will be picking up one methodology from the variety which is available in the software standard. So we'll see what are the different famous methodology we usually deal with. The one today we're going to talk more on is waterfall methodology. Then we have spiral model, we have verification and validation model, prototype model, derived model, hybrid model, agile model. So this is one very much important for all the freshers or everybody in the industry. We need to know about what is agile methodology. So I'll be creating video contents on all this individually. So just wait. And then we have rapid application development model. This one, like if the client want us to develop something very quickly, then we'll go with RADM. So these are like the varieties of different models available in the industry. We can pick any one according to our client's need. We'll not be doing all together in a single project. We'll be picking one according to the requirement, and then we'll start working on that. That's all about it. It's not limited to these eight. There are many rest also available in the market, but these eight are like very standard. Everybody in the industry should know what is spiral, what is hybrid, and what is agile methodology. Even if you have not worked on it, you should know what is the difference. When you become a point, like when you become a project owner, you should be in the state to have an analysis that this has this positive and this has this negative, so I should pick this one, right? So this eight, if you're clear in your in beginning of your career, then you're good to go. Let's move on to the next slide. So we're gonna talk more on waterfall cycle, right? So what do you get from this picture? So water is like waterfall, right? So I would say like waterfall is something related to the waterfall cycle. So waterfall cycle is nothing but a series of execution, I would say. Let's see what are the phases available in waterfall methodology. The first one is requirement phase. So waterfall methodology will be aligned with SDLC. Whatever the phases available in SDLC will be there in waterfall, but there is a slight change in that. That's what the unique waterfall methodology definition, I would say. The first phase is requirement. We know that's the stage where the initial requirement would be analyzed, followed by design state. So, our UX developer would be coding, and all the initial phase of timeline, all the project related details would be done in that particular design state. Then, followed by development. This is where the developers would be doing, performing the coding actions, and then there comes testing. Testing is the phase where our testers would be performing varieties of testing. It includes performance, non-performance, all other sort of testing. Once testing is done, they will be doing a QA sign-off. So in few companies, there is a state available in between maintenance that is called UAT phase, user acceptance testing. That's where like the end user would be given with the product. They will perform sort of testing just to make sure the product is great. If any error is found on that particular phase, the developer has to fix it, and tester has to retest it, and then again it would be redirected to UAT, and then we will be deploying them to the production, right? So deployment is done, and then maintenance would be maintained. This is the uh, observation we also did it for SDLC, right? So what exactly it got differ in waterfall cycle is that after requirement, during the requirement discussion, we'll do something called feasibility study. So feasibility study is that a study just to make sure whether the requirement, whatever the client brings up, is able to do. Can we do? Can we able to do that requirement? Yes, no. Do we have people for that? Will be able to do this project in the client's required timeline? Yes, no. All this sort of information regarding the project will be discussed in this feasibility study. Post this, okay, so if everything is fine, positive from the company side, will proceed with the project, right? So in whatever methodology, after feasibility study, we cannot change requirements, right? So post the feasibility study, no requirement changes are allowed inside this project. That's the beauty waterfall have. It's positive on this on the same way it's a negative, because if your requirements are clear, we will not have many confusion in development as well as in the testing. But since if the project is a long time project, if client wanted to include some other functionality during any other cycle, that cannot be accomplished. So post feasibility study, we cannot implement any new feature to the application. That's waterfall methodology. So in this picture, you'll know, I guess, like you'll have a clear understanding. So it was a sequential phase, like a waterfall that pours one after the other. That's how the waterfall model name comes up. So we just learned what all the steps available in this waterfall methodology. Just let's move on to the next slide. So we call waterfall as a linear sequential model, one after the other. Once the first phase completed, we'll move on to the next phase. So it's not dynamic in the sense like we just learned after feasibility study, no requirement changes are allowed. If requirement changes are allowed, then it can be called as a dynamic. Uh, it is a static model. We cannot change any requirement in any other phase after feasibility study, and it's a traditional model. We call it a traditional basic model. In the early stage of software development, from the early stage of software development, we have been using waterfall cycle. That's the reason it is called traditional and basic model. No ambiguous requirement. Yes, like we cannot just add a new feature whenever the client needs, right? So that cannot be accomplished in this one. And requirements are clear and fixed. Yeah, we learned about this. So all the requirements are clear and fixed, so that the developers have clear understanding in what he is developing, and the testers also have clear understanding in what they are going to test. So these are the main key feature when it comes to waterfall. Next time when the interviewer asks you what is waterfall, you can say like waterfall cycle is nothing but a linear cycle, linear sequential cycle. It's a traditional and basic model. The most important point you need to bring him here in the table is that after feasibility study, no requirement changes are allowed in waterfall methodology. That is the key, heart and soul of this waterfall methodology concept. Then there comes the last topic. We're going to talk more on what is advantage and disadvantage. This is the phase where all the CTOs and the project owners come to the conclusion that which phase, which model am I going to choose for this particular project, right? Phases are processed and completed one after the other. So this point is nothing but once my design is done, and then after that only I'll be doing my performing my coding. Once coding is done, after that only I'll be doing my testing. So phases will not be executed parallelly. That can be executed one after the other, right? Easy to use. We learned it, right? So since everybody is clear with what they are going to do, it is easy to use. And process and results are well documented. Yeah, in waterfall methodology, everybody has to do their documentation part. So documentation is nothing but I'll be covering a new video on that one. It's nothing but like when developer get their requirement, they have to do something called uh, a, a plan, a strategy for what they are going to develop. When the tester are going to test a new application, they have to create a test plan for what the application they are going to test it. So each and every phase will be documented, what they are doing, how the expectation and the result. These documentation is very much important. If you're working in waterfall methodology, you'll have a plenty of time to do that also. Let's talk about the disadvantage too. No working software is produced until the last during the life cycle. Yeah, we know, right? So once the all cycle is done, only we'll give the end user with the product. No live working product could be given to the client without doing all the cycle, right? So the end user would be given with a product only after the last cycle. Poor model for long and ongoing project. Yeah, it cannot be accomplished for a long project. Let's say like I have an idea in my mind that that needed to be developed in next 2 years. I cannot go pick this waterfall methodology because like my end user, my end product could be done only after 2 years, right? I just if you want a person, if you are a person wanted to see live execution, then I would request you to go with agile, where you will have a regular updates on the project. So that's the different. We cannot accomplish this one for a long projects, and then cannot accommodate changes requirement. Yeah, changing requirement. We cannot accommodate changing rights. These are the major disadvantage on waterfall methodology. I hope you guys are like clear in waterfall methodology. Just keep in mind like no requirement changes after feasibility study. That's the main concept takeaway you're going to do today in this video. Just hit like, share, comment, share this video with all the freshers, all the people who are searching out for the job. See you all in the next video. Thank you. Bye.